This is Dr. David Allen, and I've been talking with my daughter, Dr. Marie Allen Carroll, who's an expert in codependency. She has done young ladies groups in America, in New York, Atlanta, here in Nassau, and she's developed some special techniques in helping particularly young girls break this cycle, because it's a very important cycle to break. Marie, as we come to the end of our program, what are some of the things you'd like to stress to our audience about breaking codependency?
I would say, number one, becoming aware of what it is, realizing that if your life has become so unmanageable, it's okay. It's okay to say, I can't do this anymore. It's okay to say, this is too much. It's okay to say, I need help. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you're a mess up. It means that you're actually courageous because you're saying this is not working and I need help. So I think that's number one, being able to recognize if something's touching you when you hear these things, if something is you're relating to it, pay attention to that instinct. We're born with gut instinct. We know when something isn't going well in our lives. We know, we have that instinct. Unfortunately, we push it down and we ignore it, hoping it'll just go away. It won't go away. So I'm asking you to take a minute to look in the mirror and say, where is your life? Has it become unmanageable? And if so, what can I do about it? We've offered numbers, we've offered places for support. So then what you're going to do is you're going to, doesn't mean that you have to do anything drastic in your life. Some people are scared if they come and admit that there's a problem going on, that everything is going to blow to pieces. We're not about that. It's not about staying or leaving. It's about growing where you are. We just want to help you find your intrinsic natural self, whatever that means for you. So I would say becoming aware, feeling okay to ask for help. Read Codependent No More. It's an excellent book. It also has a workbook that was very meaningful. Melody Beattie. Excellent book. It's 25 years old, but it's so relevant. It's got a workbook as well. Journaling. It's time to do some inner work. It's time to say, you know what? Yes, maybe my whole life, maybe from childhood, you have been codependent. You've been the caregiver, always taking care of everyone else, but never developing your own self. Now it's your turn. You're not a martyr. God doesn't want you to be a martyr. Right? He wants you to have the life that you were born to live. He manufactured you to be able to have a purpose. And while you're stuck in this dysfunctional place, you are not fulfilling your purpose.
And I guess what you're saying is many times codependency destroys our purpose.
Absolutely. Because it's no longer, we're saying someone else's purpose is more important than ours. And the sad thing is the thing that you're codependent on, they're too busy in their addiction or in their mess or what have you. They're not fulfilling their purpose either. So neither of you are fulfilling your purpose. So it's just the more you look at it, it's just a big, big mess. You're helping so much, but you're not helping at all. And actually, you might be helping the person stay sicker and sicker and sicker, to tell you the truth as well. So it's not a good thing. So awareness, introspection, looking at yourself, asking for help, realizing that you have a right to have full potential, to have your adequacy, that you can take your authority back. You can take your authority back. It's not too late. It's never too late to take your authority back. And then get into a place where you can be supported and work with to be able to do that. And even though it's not an easy road, it is an extremely fulfilling journey.
Marie, and do you think it's important to stress that in breaking a codependency cycle, a person does sometimes try and fail, and they have to try again, right?
Absolutely.
It's not a slam
It's not
dunk.
a one-time. No, absolutely. And when you're stressed, or when you go through loss, or whenever you're faced with the time that you're out of control, those natural tendencies will probably come right back. You know, because that's how you were raised, or that's how you learned to be. But that's why we call it a journey of discovery. It's not a destination. This is a journey, and we're in it together, and we're all doing it. And that's what we're saying about this, about our type of psychology. It's not about just looking at your weaknesses. It's finding your positives and realizing we've all got our limitations. We all have areas we need to work on.
You know, it's so beautiful, Marie, because when you see a young person grabbing these concepts, it means that they're now opening to the freedom of their life. And it's so sad to see how that many of our young people, because they're codependent on their marijuana, they're codependent on the violence in the neighborhood, they're codependent on the gang, they're codependent on the negative things in society, and their freedom is destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. It's a loss of freedom. It's impossible to feel free when you're in codependency, because you're in bondage. You're in bondage. You're tied to something that you don't know how to break free from. And it's, the more you try to help, the more you're tightening those bonds and those ropes. And sadly, the rope is usually around your own neck. And so you're slowly killing yourself, either physically or emotionally. So really important to realize that it is a lack of freedom.
And Marie, as we come to the end, there are some people who realize they're codependent, that they're in bondage, they're trying to please somebody, they're really loving or helping somebody where they're destroying themselves, but they just wouldn't do anything about it. Why is that?
Fear. We're so afraid of the unknown. We're such creatures of habit. Even if it's pain, even if it's pain we're used to, it's still, we know that. We don't know what's on the other side. We don't know what's on the other side of codependency. This is the only way I've ever known. I've only known to be an addict. I've only known to be in this kind of relationship. I've only known to be a perfectionist and kind of falling apart all the time. I don't know what it's like to feel whole. If I feel really whole, if I'm healthy, then maybe I am responsible for actually fulfilling my purpose. And maybe that's too hard. Maybe that's too scary. Because what if I've given up this codependency, I'm trying to find my potential, and I fail at that? Now that really makes me a loser. So instead of trying to we're so scared of failing ourselves, at least if we're helping someone else, we get some kind of gratification. At least we're helping, not realizing that we're really not helping. So it's fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's a lack of faith. The only way you're going to get through this is faith that you have the power in you. You have the power in you. There's a higher power bigger than you that wants you to get out of this. But you have to find some, and even if it's the size of a mustard seed, it doesn't have to be the size of a mountain. Just something that says, there's more to life than this. It's not as good as it gets. It can be better. Don't settle. It can be better.
Marie, thank you so much for your discussion. But as we leave the television, what would you like to say to the Bahamian people who are watching?
I would just say, find out for yourself. Discover who you're meant to be. It doesn't mean the end of a relationship necessarily. It doesn't mean the end of a job situation. It could make it even better. It could enhance it more. But you're not doing anyone a favor by staying codependent, least of all yourself or your children. So I'm asking you to be courageous, step out, try to figure out what's going on, allow yourself to let go of the need to control. It's just an illusion anyway. And unfortunately, if you don't do it, sometimes life is a way of making you lose things. So one way or the other, we all are faced with that trial. But as Dr. Allen always says, that trial can turn into your tribulation. Your pain can be your promise, can be your potential. But you need to take that step first and break away, become aware and break out of the codependency.
Marie's new book is called Discovery, and it's done very beautifully with quotes on my theory, but it has beautiful pictures of the Bahamas and quotes that you can use just by, like a coffee book, going through to keep breaking your codependency. And if you'd like a copy of that, you're welcome to call our office, 327-8719, and get one from us. But please, breaking our codependency is a very important thing for us as Bahamians, because living in codependency is living in the lack of freedom. And living in the lack of freedom is dumbing yourself down. And dumbing yourself down means you can't find your purpose in life. And if you don't carry out your purpose in life, then we as a nation lose our purpose in being a nation. So God bless you, and God bless the Bahamas. Thank you, and good night.